Friggin' nuts, right? Broke the game, guys. Welcome. I'm the Deadwood Jedi, and thank you guys for coming back for another video about this 3-1 comp. I'm going to show you guys how I broke the game doing this the other day. I made a simple change to my lineup. I was actually on stream, and I decided to try something just a little bit different. See if we could maybe do something slightly different. The result is incredible, well beyond my expectations, and I think you guys are going to be extremely surprised by it too. If you saw my video yesterday, you saw the 3-1 team, fastest team yet, fastest team ever in this game, did about 23 million, 22 million damage on Ultra Nightmare. I decided to do one simple change, and we did a lot more damage than that. Let's just put it that way. All of a sudden, this comp becomes viable in some respects. And I feel like maybe we don't see any 3-1 compositions right now, but if there's some new champions released, I would not be surprised if we see some in the future, because the potential of this is evident. When you have 3 speed champions that are just boosting, they're not really dealing a lot of damage, and we're able to put out the output that we are, that you're going to see. I think it becomes very clear the potential that this composition could do if you can find the right combination of champions to make it work. That, of course, is the trick, finding the right combination of champions to make it work. That said, I am going to show you guys 2 runs today. I'm going to show you a Ultra Nightmare run so you can see the real damage potential that this composition has. And then I'm going to show you a Nightmare run where I literally broke the game. I ran it twice. Neither one fell in place, but I ended up breaking the game as a result. So I want to show you guys that. I thought it was really cool. I mean, not expecting that, but I thought it was super fun. So what I figured we'd do, we go ahead, we jump in. I'm going to show you the champions that we have, and then we'll go through the run after that. So we're not making a lot of changes. I haven't really changed anything with my composition since you last saw it. We're really only bringing in 1 new champion. I'm going to go ahead and show them really quickly as I'm talking to kind of give you an idea of the base stats that we're working with, give you an idea of the masteries that we're using for them. But all of that is pretty much exactly the same as it was yesterday. So you can see I did fill out the masteries for Arbiter. I guess I should click on that so you can get a kind of a look of what it is. And you can see, excuse me, you can see the stats that we're bringing in, not that different. I did make a few little tweaks to make sure that everybody's right around 4,000 defense to make us a little bit tougher and a little bit tankier. So that's better. It's good to have a balance. Obviously, High Katuna has less HP, keeps her alive a little less long, but in general, it's all going to be pretty much the same going forward with this. There's always some tweaks that you can make to help your team do just a smidge more damage, last just a smidge a little bit longer, but not a ton. Now, one thing you will notice with Tyrell, we went down the support tree to help extend those debuffs and land them a little bit more often. That proved to be pretty helpful, actually. And then artifacts, again, we're still in the same range here on stuff. Make sure we get that crit rate high. Defense is still lower than I like, but in general, quite nice. And then the very last champion we're bringing in, it probably isn't a surprise because we're not bringing in Battle Khazar, so that means we don't have healing, so we have to go out a different route, and so we went with the best champion probably in the game is Valkyrie. And we went with her to put up that massive shield because it's a 3-to-1 ratio. She's able to put a fresh shield up every single clan boss attack. It is insane. The amount of sustain that can do is mind-boggling. Honestly, I was blown away by it. We have her very well built. Of course, we still have to get that speed up, but we kept her the slowest champion so that we could really build that defense on her, and 6,700 is pretty solid on that count. As far as masteries go, we went ahead and went down lasting gifts. It doesn't matter if these extend or not, so it wasn't going to hurt us one way or the other, and just wanted to maximize that shield ability there. Now, if I was really, really, really trying to cap this out, I could go through each of these champions. I could start, well, see, most of these champions go down the support tree because we need to get those buffs or that heals and maximize that stuff. So there's not really any defensive tree action happening here. If I were, I'd take that. There's one mastery on the defensive tree This one right here, Rejuvenation, that gives you an extra 5% from the shields taken. Because we're getting that literally every single turn, I would probably try to take that on all my champions. But I don't see that being a huge factor in this. We do last a very, very, very long time, guys. The beauty of bringing Valkyrie in is that 3-turn cooldown. The 3-turn cycle that we're doing every single turn means she can put up a fresh shield every single time. She's getting the increased defense buff from Siphi and then putting up that massive shield to ensure that everybody is covered by that. That's going to help us last a super long time. Siphi's passive healing, that everybody heals 15% of their max HP, means that we're going to be healing 45% of our max HP every single turn on top of the shield. So even when we go down, we're still going to heal back up. And then something else you want to pay attention to, as we start getting later in some of these fights, we take a lot of damage getting towards the end, where our HP almost goes to 0. Now, 45%, that's not going to fill you up all the way, but there's an interesting thing. There's 2 AoE attacks. The first one's strong, the second one's strong, but there's the stun, and the stun only targets one person, so that gives everybody an extra turn to heal up from those AoEs and get back up to full before we start the entire cycle again. It's kind of a fascinating process, honestly. I find it very fun to watch these champions when they go this fast and this often, and just the mechanics of how it works, I think, is actually pretty it's pretty enjoyable to watch. It's kind of a glorious thing. It's sort of poetry in motion. It's a little bit beautiful. That might just be me waxing poetic about it, but I really do find it kind of mesmerizing to watch. So I feel more and more optimistic that this comp can be made to be a legitimate damage-dealing composition simply because of Valkyrie's shield and the amount of time we can sustain. If we can get the proper debuffs on, I feel like this team could be insanely good damage-wise. But that's enough for me. Let me go ahead and get myself off of here, and I'll let you guys watch the run. All right, guys, jumping into this tune, it's set up just like I had in the video before. Hikatun's going to use her speed up ability right from the get-go. Arbiter's going to start with the A4 and then wait 1 turn and then use the A3. So basically a 2-turn delay on the A3, and Siphi has a 2-turn delay on her A2 ability as well. After that, we are at full auto. We are not affinity friendly for the first 2 cycles, but after that, we are. This also doesn't work with these speeds against Void, because what ends up happening is the increased defense buff from Siphi falls off of Arbiter, and so she takes the stun on the 2nd cycle. So it has to be run against Affinity. It's the strangest composition. I do have speeds of this composition that are Affinity friendly. However, I can't reach them. They are faster than this, and they are a little bit different. I couldn't reach those speeds, so I can't run this. But this gets the job done there. It only takes a couple of turns to set it up. And yeah, why don't you guys enjoy it? I think you're going to be real surprised with the damage we do. wow, 40 million damage, over 40 million damage, over 45 turns taken. Like that's a lot of sustain. That is not what I was expecting, guys. There's no damage dealers in this composition. I mean, there's no Draco, no Shazar, no nothing. All we have to do damage, there's not even any poisons. All we have to do damage is Tayrel and Valkyrie. That's it. I mean, Valkyrie damage, that's not her game. So this is a pretty crazy composition. I'm really curious to see if we could build this team for damage. If we could bring in some better damage dealers. I don't know how much. I feel like one key is not off the table. Now, the trick is getting all the debuffs in, because you still need that attack down. You still need that decreased defense and weaken. You'd love to get those poisons in. So I have some ideas. I'm not sure if I can make it happen. I don't have the gear to make it happen. So I might have to. I also don't have the champs to make that happen. So I might have to go outside of my comfort zone to try and do that. I'm going to see if I can. We'll see if I can. It's going to be a little tricky, but I think I might be able to. But what is for today, I want to show you this nightmare run where I literally broke the game. I cannot believe that happened, but I broke the game. I don't want to wait anymore. Let me just go ahead. We're going to show that to you. I'm not going to show you the whole run. The whole run is over 36 minutes long, guys. It's forever. Valkyrie shield is insane. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you the beginning. I'm going to cut to later in the end, and I'm probably going to talk over the end part there so you guys have an idea, or I'll give you a little spoiler in between, so you see what's happening. But yeah, just watch. So the setup for Nightmare Run isn't any different from what I showed yesterday. We need a 1-turn delay on Siphi, which you're seeing right there. We need a 1-turn delay for Arbiter's A4 and a 3-turn delay for A3, and then Haikatu needs to wait 2 turns to use her A2 speed up ability. Other than that, it's pretty much full go. There's a little timing to get Valkyrie's shield in the right spot too. Just a 2-turn delay on that, but other than that, it is pretty much exactly the same. So now that we're on auto at this point, we hit the full tune right about now as well, and so we are taking 3 turns at a go. Let's go ahead and jump all the way to the end, and you can see kind of the last few minutes of this run. So here we jump almost to the end of this run. Well, you can see we're almost at turn count 50, and there it hits. Turn count 50 is important because if you run an unkillable team or endless revive team, that's your turn limit. The clan boss will strike through block damage, strike through unkillable, and will block revive at that point. However, we're using Valkyrie. We're not an unkillable team, so we're still going because Valkyrie's shield is so insane. And because of that, we're going to come up against another hard limit in this game that is not very well known. You might have run across this actually in Faction Wars, especially before they rebalanced it, because the fights were so long and arduous. But essentially, every time your champions use a skill, take an attack, use a skill, or the clan boss does, it counts as 1 turn. Well, the game can only accommodate 1,000 turns. And so with this team, because we have 5 champions taking 3 attacks every single turn, and the clan boss making their attack, we run up against that hard limit pretty quickly, right around turn 60 or so. And by that point, the game can't accommodate more than 1,000 turns, 1,000 attacks, and it breaks. Now, it doesn't include counterattack, but anytime you use a skill, whether it's proc from an extra turn or relentless gear, and every time the clan boss goes, it does count as a turn. And so because we're taking so many turns and going for so long, we actually break the game. It's pretty fantastic to watch, and you'll see it right at the end. friggin' nuts, right? Broke the game, guys. Over 70 turns taken. Over 75 turns taken. I mean, over 80 million damage done. And well over 1,000 attacks. Well over 1,000 turns, which breaks the game. So we pushed, I feel, speed to the limit to make this happen. And I am so not ecstatic, but just like I'm tickled about this whole experience. I think it is bonkers and nuts. I'm really sad I'm gonna have to put this team away after this this next patch comes out. But I mean, it's crazy, right? Just crazy the speeds that are on here. Oh, it's nuts. Guys, thank you so much for sticking around. Always a blast hanging out with you and talking to you guys. I really appreciate it. All of you that have subscribed to, thank you so much. You have no idea how much that means for both me and my channel. I really appreciate it. Being able to take the time to do this content for you guys it's challenging, and I'm loving it, and it's very humbling having you guys support me on it. So thank you guys very much for that. If you haven't subscribed, go ahead and hit the button, hit the notification bell so you do know when the next video comes out. It's always important. The like is a nice thing as well, but not necessary. What is necessary is that I say thank you guys for joining us. Until next we meet, I'm the Deadwood Jedi.